Cooper. Now there's three guys ahead of him: Matty Cooper, Craig McKenzie, and Sam McAleer. Now McAleer's fast. You know, he had to do that stop and go. So in theory, if Eklund can get up to McAleer, those guys could maybe make some do some damage.
It looks like Yao Freitas might have done something wrong, because it looks now Thomas Szabo is just starting to catch up with them. Thomas Szabo, I feel like he's been kind of quiet lately in this season, yet he's had one good finish after another, Bill. So yeah, Thomas Szabo having a great race today.
Yeah, I'm rewinding to see if I can see what happened to Freitas, and I just don't see it. It looks like this Szabo is just closed the gap on him. When Eklund went into the pits, Freitas was right there. So I think Szabo just has the pace.
Now we're gonna see once again now what we're talking about in the draft. If Freitas gets a good exit here, which he does, and Thomas Szabo is gonna get a nice run, now we're gonna see what exactly happens. As you can see, Thomas Szabo just starts inching closer and closer as they reach the end of the straight, and if he feels brave enough, he might be too far back, but normally if he was close enough, he'd peek in there and try to go down the inside of turn one. So again, not quite close enough for the draft to work in his advantage yet, but again, he is benefiting. He's getting that extra space, not battling with other people. That's going to help his pace, as well as saving a few extra ounces of fuel here and there using the slipstream, Bill. So Thomas Szabo, he might stay out just a little bit longer than everyone else if he feels like that's going to help him, due to the fact that he's been pacing with Yao Freitas so cleanly lately.
Yeah, now, Brian, I'm going to ask you a question, because it's my impression that the leader in a two-team tandem really doesn't make any advantage. It's not like in NASCAR where the car behind can push him unless they actually bump draft. Is that the impression you get, or do you think that Freitas can actually gain speed with Szabo behind him?
Well, normally I say he would gain speed, but because the MX-5 doesn't have any aero package or anything special to help the car move faster through the air, I think it's like trying to push a brick through a windy wind tunnel, I guess you would say. So I don't think these cars are aerodynamic enough to benefit in the front, but I think the guy behind them is definitely going to benefit. It might not be in speed or anything like that, but just the overall pace will be better. He's going to save at least a little bit of fuel. It won't be enough to make a huge difference, but it might buy him a little more time than, say, someone that's under attack or stuck in traffic, and that's what you really want to look for in a series like this.
See, one of the things that I think the drivers learned when we ran a few exhibition oval races at the big oval at Indianapolis at the Brickyard was that the front car didn't gain anything, but the back car could actually slingshot around, and the momentum that they gained in passing was how they made up time. They could gain a car length, and then the next lap the car would slingshot back around again, so the two cars would swap positions, and that's how they gained time. So I think if Freitas and Szabo are interested in catching Koumans, they need to start working together, and Freitas needs to let Szabo get around him, and then Szabo needs to let Freitas get around him, and maybe they can inch their way back to Koumans. Meanwhile, we still don't have anybody who is pitted other from the leaders other than Eklund. And we'll go back and see where Eklund is right now in comparison with McAleer, and McAleer's in the pits, so Eklund's running all by himself again. So we'll keep an eye on them.
Well, just an update real quick. Jan Koumans is now up to a 4-second lead. Imagine that. He's just running an impressive race, and that is definitely the kind of racing we've come to know and love from Jan Koumans. Right now, as we look, it looks like Thomas Szabo is now even closer to Yao Freitas. So, you know what, I think you're right about the drafting thing. Maybe Freitas would benefit on one of these straights to just let Szabo shoot right past him, and then in turn do the same kind of thing down the next straight. There's lots of time to get it done. We're only on lap 12 of 25, and these guys have yet to go into the pits yet. So maybe you're right, and I coming back and thinking about it, I think at Charlotte Road we did see a little bit of that in the NASCAR part of the track. Guys slingshot and pass each other and swapping positions. I believe it was Yair Yanis and Richard Eklund were both going at it pretty good. All right, so right now we're on the roll bar of Thomas Szabo as he's going to go and attack Yao Freitas. As you can just see what the track is like. It's not particularly crazy, but it is very, very flat in some of these parts of the track, so there's not a lot of space to get what you'd call resistance against the car as far as driving goes. Now, it's one of those tracks that's very strange, though, because there's many points in the track where you go off camber and don't even realize it, and that can make braking very difficult. You can lose a lot of time, you can lose your grip, you might make a weird entry to a corner, not realize it when you can't turn in. all these things are coming to play at Okayama. It's one of the most unique tracks in the world. It's one of the best tracks in iRacing, and today you're seeing why. Now, it looked like Szabo got just a little bit of a dirt clod underneath his tires. He lost a little bit of time to Yao Freitas, but coming into this carousel, he made it a little bit of that time back, and now we're going to see if he got a good entry or exit, excuse me, here at the carousel, as they have that long straight we talked about time and time again, where Thomas Szabo is going to draft Yao Freitas down and see if he can get a good braking point as we go in to the hairpin. It looks like Freitas might go just a little bit defensive, and no need to now as Szabo tucks back in. Bill, I'm surprised neither of these guys have pitted yet. We're on lap 13.
A lot of the back markers have pitted. Yeah, I say we're looking at it in the next 4 or 5 laps. Let's go ahead, GL, and drop back here to Tom Rathie in 13th and 14th position here with Simon Van Doon. Now, we mentioned that we keep an eye on Rathie. He was the first of those guys in that kind of train from 7th to 13th that pitted. Well, sure enough, he's come out ahead of Van Doon, and ahead of him is Overgaard. Now, Overgaard is pitted, and he's behind him, so Overgaard has held his position. Let me go see how our leaders are doing, if anyone is in the pits. Back to you, Bright.
I haven't seen anybody jump back in the pits right now. I'm still focused on Yao Freitas as he's just starting to pull away from Thomas Szabo yet again. It's weird. It looks like Thomas Szabo is very quick again, compared to Freitas in the infield technical part of the track, but when we come back out to these long areas of the track where you get these long straights and these long sweeping bends, Freitas dominates. So I think what we're seeing here is two very light-paced drivers that are very proficient in one part of the track opposed to another, and that has been very interesting because we just see Freitas pull away and then lose a lot of time, then pull away and then lose some more time. So I think Thomas Szabo might be a little puzzled on why he's not catching up to Freitas enough to make that pass, and this might be a good example here. This is where Yao Freitas has been able to pull away from Szabo, so maybe he knows something that Szabo doesn't know when it comes to racing at Okayama, Bill.
Yeah, it's they might just be waiting. You know, they know what's going on. They know that Koumans has been having trouble in the pits, so they might just be saying, "All right, Jan, let's see what you can do this week. Let's see if you can screw up your pit stop this week." So we'll see. We'll see how that comes out when Koumans actually does go in. It doesn't look like Koumans is pulling that much farther away from Freitas. Back in 5th place, if GL can go back actually into 4th place, is Brad Wooden. He's gotten around McAleer in the Big Mac with the red, yellow, and white machine there for 4th place. So neither of these guys have pitted yet. So the top 5 have still yet to come in.
Yeah, it looks like we had Jeroen Ursum in the pits, and he's the last one I saw go in. So I think a lot of the people have either cycled through or have yet to pit as we see Jan Koumans go around yet again. He'll be coming around to lap 15 this time by, I believe, and he is yet to pit. So I think Yao Freitas and Thomas Szabo, they both opt out once again. They'll be following Jan Koumans around. I think they're just trying to get the best they can out of this drafting situation and saving as much time as they can. They're going to need to go in soon, though, because they're going to be running out of fuel. Bill?
Yeah, my calculations is it's got to come in the next 2 laps. I went back and reviewed last season's race, and one of the Tucker boys was able to go to lap 17, so I don't think we're going to see these guys. We're on lap 15 right now. I don't see anybody going past that. Wooden in 4th, Mack in 5th, if I can run through the field for everybody. Thomas Torp has yet to pit. He's running in 6th place, but when he pits, he's going to back behind some of the other guys. Benjamin Lanowitz is running in 7th. He has yet to make a pit stop. And then we go back to, now this is interesting, Jonathan Kerr running in 9th place. You see him in his familiar yellow and black machine there. He's in the Roadster. He has given up. He has, he had to say goodbye to his beloved, I'm sorry, he's not in the Roadster, he's in the Cup. He had to say goodbye to his beloved Roadster. So there are no Roadsters in the race today, Brian, and it's a sad day for the GreenValleyLake.com MX-5 World Tour.
It is indeed, and I just want to update you guys. Sorry we didn't catch this sooner. We are a little short-handed today. Jeroen Ursum has been in the pits a long time, and I found out why. It looked like he spun off the road and going into the tricky infield part and caught the wall. I kind of wondered why the front of his car was missing some paint, and that in fact is why. So again, Jeroen Ursum is going to be out of the race for as far as pace goes. He's back out on the track now, but he lost a ton of time, and it's all due to making a mental error and going headfirst into a wall coming into the infield. So Jeroen Ursum, again, sorry guys. We missed it, but just an update. Jeroen Yersum is out of the race with a damaged car.
And Koemans has gone, if I'm looking at the right part of the track, he's gone another lap without pitting. But in the pits right now is Freitas and Freitas and Zabel. So they're both pulling into their pit lane right now. So we'll see who gets out of here first. Both pull in nicely with Freitas, and Zabel goes magically through him. Is that how it works in pit lane? They both pull in nicely. Nobody's taking tires. I can imagine the imaginary pitmen running around, dumping in the fuel, and also coming in behind them are Mack and Wooten. And out first is
Freitas.
Oh, that's Freitas is out first. There you go. Boy, he's out by quite a distance.
Ooh, that's
so now. Yeah, he made quite a distance on Zabel. So now we're going to have to keep an eye on Koemans. With Koemans coming in, and it should be this lap.
Also joining him on pit lane is Benjamin Lanowet, and I believe one other driver. I did not see who it was. Oh, Thomas Torp. So that pretty much rounds off the whole pit strategy. As we saw, Thomas Zabel either made a mistake or João Freitas took 0% fuel, because that was a very speedy stop either way you look at it. And now look at this. Richard Eklund comes just a little bit ahead of João Freitas as João Freitas comes out of pit road. So maybe they were benefiting just a little bit by staying out as long as possible and drafting each other. Because I was expecting Richard Eklund to have quite the run on both of them, and that doesn't seem to be the case this time by, Bill.
Yeah, no, that's, Eklund made his pit early, but in the end they come out together. All right, I'm on Koemans right now. He's got to be coming in this time. He's coming down to the right-hander that sets up pit lane, and sure enough, he's dumping in. So I'll keep an eye on Koemans. If you can find that battle between Freitas and Eklund, and you call that, and I'll let you know when Koemans makes his move out of the pit lane.
Well, we can do that right now. It looks like João Freitas is coming up to the double switchback here at Okayama. Those are the last couple of corners before they get to the pit road entry. So he has just a little ways to go to get back to the front straight. Just a quick note real quick that 13.14 seconds for João Freitas. So Jan Koemans need to do better than 13.14 to be considered a good stop. Right now we got João Freitas. He's coming back to the last two corners of the track. Bill, what are we seeing from Jan Koemans?
Koemans is in smoothly. He's getting his fuel right now. He's not changing tires, but he's still in his pit box. He should be leaving. He's exiting right now. Where's Freitas?
We got Eklund and Freitas. He's coming down the front straight as they're going to be crossing the start-finish line. Thomas Zabel's quite a ways back, so there will be no draft for him. Right now, it looks like Jan Koemans beats both Eklund and Freitas to the mark, and he is going to retain the lead as Eklund and João Freitas are going to take second and third coming through turns 1 and 2, Bill.
I'd say Koemans made up some ground from where he was in relationship to Freitas. So let's go ahead now. The pit cycle is through. We'll set the field for you. Koemans is out.
Sorry, Eklund made a big mistake. He went wide off into the sand, and he went for a little bit of a ride. I don't know if he picked up any damage. It didn't look like he hit that wall, but again, João Freitas was able to make up a few tenths of a seconds there, and maybe potentially get a good run here coming off the carousel onto the back straight, Bill.
So we have Koemans running third in the points, is now our leader. Our second place driver in the points is Eklund. He's running second. Our driver who is leading in the points is Freitas. He's running third, and boy, he's right behind Eklund. So right now, if these guys hold station, Eklund is going to chunk off a few more points off that 33-point season point lead from Freitas. Behind Freitas is Zabel, who cycled out in fourth. Behind Zabel is Wooten and Mack, who came out both together, and Wooten is in front of Mack, and they're running in fifth and sixth. And then way farther back, running all by himself for most of the race, is Stefan Overgaard. Then we're going to go back now and look at this battle that's been going on throughout the race. Right now, the close battle between Rathy and Torp as he's making a move, and Van Doon and Benjamin Lenowit. We've been keeping an eye on them all race, and that's really where the excitement is. Those four drivers right now. Another four-car train there between Rathy as he goes through, and then it's Rathy one more time. Rathy in that red, white, and blue car, and then Torp in that silver car. Then it's Van Doon in the white, yellow, and blue car, followed by Lanowit. And in the very back, if you can catch him in your screen, then running way back in 12th position, nice run for Jordy Fike. Back to you, Bry.
Yeah, just want to make a quick notice. I don't know where the camera was at during the last bit, but Richard Eklund just had a very weird off in the last corner. He went off into the sand, and then while trying to come back onto the road, as we saw here, now Freitas going off into the dirt, Anyways, Eklund went off in the sand, and when he was trying to come back, I think he saw either Freitas in the mirror trying to pass or what, but he stayed off into the grass and lost quite a bit of time. Freitas, being smart right now, though, however, decides not to pass him and risk having a collision and stayed back. So Richard Eklund retains second place. Freitas is going to try and draft him now and pass him the correct way, which is the non-damage way. Now, just a quick update. We got Koumans at a 14.5 for pit stop. Eklund had a 14.3 and Szabo had a 15.36. Just a reminder, Freitas had a 13.14, so, or excuse me, a 13.1. So I'm wondering if Freitas decided to skimp out on fuel just a little bit, Bill.
Yeah, but you know, he actually didn't gain any time on I mean, he had a short pit stop, but he actually lost the position for the Eklund. Although I think Eklund was ahead of Freitas when they went in for the pits originally. So I think they pretty much held station. Those guys are pretty experienced. I don't think Freitas would dare risk running out of fuel. I mean, that would, with his position in the points, to run out of fuel and drop those positions. Oh, that would be devastating.
Well, right now I think Bill's getting ready for the back marker salute, our weekly bit we do at the end of the race. So right now, while he's preparing for that, we're looking at Richard Eklund and João Freitas both going off a little wide out of the last corner. They're both driving very hard, trying to make up that gap between him and Jan Koumans. Right now, they're not doing a very good job, though, because the more they go off into that sand and overdrive their cars, the worse it's going to slow them down. So they need to start wising up, maybe just slowing down a little bit, saying, hey, listen, Koumans has the pace today. We need to focus on getting these championship points and seeing where they can finish should they not be able to catch Jan Koumans. Right now, as you can see, they're going off the track every which way possible, trying to make up that time. And I think over the longer course of the rest of the race here, that's really going to start to hurt them, Bill. So I think I'm a little shocked to see them just throwing the car around. But then again, with Richard Eklund and João Freitas, maybe I shouldn't be. That's some silly thinking, Bill.
Yeah, well, Eklund's got to hold that position. I mean, that's even if he can knock off, it's 90 points for second place. It's 83 for third place. So even those 7 points is going to help if Eklund can hold position. It's time, guys, for the Eagle Nest Tavern back marker 60-second salute. And really, it's hard to do a back marker salute today because our field is only 20, and 5 of those drivers are out. So maybe we'll just talk about who's out real quick. Jiren Yursum is 4 laps. He's 4 laps behind. He's not in the race right now. Sam McAleer is out. Matty Cooper, his first race, he's out. PJ Sunderswaran is out, and Kim Vader is out. Now, we're going to start with Anthony Celentano. He's currently running in 15th place all by himself. We saw a little bit of him earlier. He was in that chain of cars. He wasn't able to hold on to them. 14th position, we haven't seen much from him. Craig McKenzie running in 14th in the Stars, the Stripes, Red, and Blue car. Up 1 spot to 13th is Jonathan Kerr. Now, we talked about Jonathan Kerr being in the Cup today. He asked the race officials if he could switch over to the Cup. The rules say you have to stay in your same car, but with only 3 laps to go, I think series officials had sympathy for the poor guy. So everybody's in the Cup today. So that's a nice 13th place. Is a good job for Jonathan in the Cup there. Jordy Fike running in 12th place. And then we talked about Benjamin Lanowitz. Now, Benjamin Lanowitz, here's that battle again. Benjamin Lanowitz and Salmon Van Doon running in 11th and 12th. Those guys have been going at it all the time. Lanowitz wants to be careful to make sure he gets in all the laps because he is really has a good chance of winning the Ironman contest. I'm going to run through the rest of this field. We'll go up to 9th place. It's Thomas Torp. We talked about him. He's, I've said about 9 times, he's in that Frosted Silver machine. He's right behind Rathy. So those guys, that's really where the action has been. Rathy's having a great race, running in 8th place. No mistakes from him. Hasn't shot himself in the foot like will happen there. There's a nice battle there between Rathy and Torp. One more spot up. That brings you up to Stefan Overgaard in that blue car with a white stripe on it. And then we get back up to our top 6 between Trevor Mack and Wooden. And we go up one more to Szabo. And that puts us back to the front there with the guys we know and love so well, Freitas, Eklund. And let's go ahead and take a look at the leader in his kind of reverse color, usually in the black colored car. Today it's white with black in the Speedmaster car, Jan Koumans. And that's our back marker. Hey, that's not our back marker salute. That's our entire field salute. Back to you, Brian.
Good stuff, Bill. As we said now that Yao Freitas had just a little bit of a slip coming out to the double switchback area. He was able to hold on though, so he's going to be trying to peer down on Richard Eklund. Richard Eklund looks to be just overdriving the hell out of that car as you see him going left and right and just bobbling all over the place. I am impressed that he has been able to hold on to that position over Yao Freitas as they come back into turn one of lap 21, I believe we're on now. So again, Richard Eklund, he said earlier on in the year that he's not really trying. He already has one of these championships and some good finishes over the years, and now he is just driving the hell out of the car. So I'm a little confused. Should we believe him, Bill? Is Richard Eklund really not trying for this championship point? His driving is definitely leading me to believe that he does care, or he would just let Yao Freitas by right now, driving as hard as he is driving.
Yeah, Eklund's hard to figure out. By nature, he's an aggressive driver, and I think now with 3 laps left, I think really we're going to keep the focus on that Eklund-Freitas battle. That's really the best battle on the track and probably has the most significance in the points. Eklund, we talked about this last week. Eklund brought up the point that says, you'll know I'm serious about winning the championship when you don't see me racing aggressive because I don't want to make mistakes. I don't know. When he came into the series, he was pretty darn aggressive, and I think he realizes then that that's no way to win a championship. But I'm not sure he has fun racing that way. His nature is to have fun, go out, let it all hang out and go for it. And right now you see Eklund in that fluorescent blue machine being dogged by the cozy cabin red and green machine of Yao Freitas. Those are your top 2 in the point leaders, with Eklund having a 33-point deficit to Freitas. So will be I think what's really interesting to see if Freitas makes a move on the last lap to see if he can get by Eklund.
You were just looking at the onboard footages. We see dirt just going everywhere. It looks like Jan Koemans went a little wide coming out of the final corner, as now he is way up the road from Yao Freitas. He's turning into turn 1 right now. Right now it looks like Eklund is going to hold on to second place. Freitas still hasn't gotten close enough to try on the inside, but you know, every lap around he looks like he's about 1/10 closer to Eklund, so I'm surprised he hasn't made a move yet. I'm sure in the next 1 or 2 laps he's going to try it because, folks, this is a 25 laps race and we are on lap 22. So right now Yao Freitas is in a good spot. He's had some rough finishes lately, whether it be a car, you know, spinning in front of him and slowing him down, or getting punted off the track by a younger driver that's coming up in iRacing. He's had a lot of things to overcome, and every week he seems to just, you know, get better and better, even with all the catastrophe to his season points. So again, Yao Freitas looking in a good spot today. I don't think third place would hurt him too much, but you know, he's definitely ready to get around Richard Eklund, and I think he has the pace to do it today. He's just looking for the right time, Bill.
Well, you know, Brian, you were sitting right next, well, virtually sitting right next to me in the virtual world back in Indianapolis, where we saw Koemans make well, I can't put it any way, but a blunder, and he went out on the first lap and finished last. You only get 25 points for a last place finish in this series. You know, you give him back those, 30, 40 points, he's right in the hunt here too. It's really a shame. This is going to be, if he can bring this home, this is going to be his 5th win of the season. That's pretty impressive. That's more than anybody. Freitas hasn't won for quite a while. He's just kind of inching his way through. But you see, no matter what happens, we start with that quick 6 gimmick, and it puts people out in front in strange positions. But when it's all said and done, you see the cream rising to the top again. And there's Koeman, a 3-time champion, followed by Eklund, last season's defending champion, and then followed by Freitas, possibly this season's champion. So it's interesting. You try to shake it up, but in the end, you know who you're going to see. Back to you, Brian.
Yeah, speaking of Indianapolis, Bill, we haven't seen Oki Stokenberger in a while. What's the story of the mystery man?
We don't know about the mystery man. He hasn't. I've been keeping an eye on him and some stats on his iRacing career, just running the regular stuff, and he's starting to get beat now. So hopefully he'll be back in the. He's driving the rustic furniture car that's one of our sponsors. So hopefully come back. He sure is fun to watch. And I'm keeping an eye here now as we're on lap 23. It's Freitas is just. I think Freitas has Eklund's number. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Freitas make a move. If you're on it right now, it's not going to happen this lap, but it's going to happen at this part of the track. And what he's going to do is follow that blue car, and he's going to dive in and get the inside on this hairpin. But the problem is, if you follow along with this here, once you get that inside, then you come around here, you have a left-hander, and the guy who lost position can hang on, and you can get it back on these next two left-handers that come up here. Boy, Freitas is right on him, isn't he, Brian?
Yeah, and I'm thinking right now, to the point you just made, I think that's why Freitas hasn't made a move yet, because he knows that Richard Eklund's a very aggressive driver, and yeah, he might get him in the first hairpin, but when they come back around and he's on the outside, you know, Richard Eklund's the type of driver that'll take your door off trying to seal the deal on his position. So maybe he's thinking ahead like in a chess game. Maybe that's not the time or the place to risk that against Richard Eklund, and he's gonna give him another lap or two just to make sure that he can get that position and not give Eklund a chance to rebound and do something crazy to take them both out or try to get that position back. You hear it all the time. Racing's about knowing who you're racing, knowing their tendencies, and knowing the type of driver they are. And maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe Freitas has Eklund's number, but he's not making a move yet because he might feel it's too early to risk trying to overtake a very aggressive driver in a very technical part of the track, Bill.
You know, well, that's one of the beauties to series racing. Talk about knowing each other. Eklund and Freitas, not only have they raced in the same race for probably 25 races, but they've raced nose to tail for 25 races. These guys know each other. And I would say that these guys trust each other. But Eklund is not without a little bit of reputation. And so when he has to come down to this part again, we're going to see if he makes a move. This is lap 24. He may not do it this lap. I think Brian might have it, folks, that Freitas knows that you want to get, here it comes right here. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, we saw Freitas try to make an inside move on Eklund. He decided that was not gonna work, so he's gonna tuck in right behind. But as you see now, Freitas is just all over the back of Eklund, and Eklund has just made one mistake after another in this part of the track, whether it be going wide or maybe not getting the right exit that he's looking for. So Freitas, I think, does have his number here. And right now, as we see as he goes on the inside, Freitas is going to get chopped just a little bit. Eklund goes defensive. He cuts in a little early, but he gets stuck on the outside. Now it becomes the inside, as you can see in the switchback here, what we're talking about. He might be set up for a pass in the one corner, the next one be cut out on the next. So Eklund's going to take it, coming into the final corner here. Freitas looks like he's going to have a run, but he gets a little bit blocked by an early turn in by Eklund. Eklund's going to go just a little wide. He holds on, doesn't get the sand as much as he has in the past, but Freitas got a better exit. Right now, we're looking at Freitas in the draft. He might be able to go inside here as we look. Is he going to go for it? He does. He does not go for it. He tucks back in behind Eklund as we come into turn one. He is teasing us, Bill. We're on lap 25, just a little ways to go, and he is losing every chance he has to make up this position. So I believe if he's going to make a move, it's going to be in the next couple straights because he is running out of time. As we see Freitas go just a little wide, Eklund's going to have a better release as he's going to come down the hill and this little bendy bit coming into the carousel. Bill?
These guys are close enough to the leader that we might be able to catch all three cars on the straightaway shot down the track. Freitas, now here it is, guys. This is the shot. I think if Freitas is going to do it, he's got to do it here. He didn't get that good of an exit off of the hairpin. He's going to pick up a draft. Eklund is going to know this. I'm going to be surprised if Eklund doesn't move over to Eklund's right and protect the inside. Let's see if he does it. Freitas really isn't close enough to make a move. He might have to dive bomb him, and he's not going to get there. Back to you, Bri.
Right now we're watching Jan Koemans. He's coming on the final lap here. It looks like Yursum's up ahead, but it shouldn't be a factor as he is far enough away that I don't think Koemans will catch him before the end of the race. Right now, Koemans, you just got to take your hat off to this guy. He does it 1 week after the next. He puts in good qualifying times. He puts in good practice, and he just comes and delivers every week. So again, it looks like Jan Koemans has this race in the books, and we're just going to take our hats off to him for a great drive today. As we come back to Jan Freitas real quick before we get to the start-finish line, Bill, what are you seeing?
Freitas might have a better exit there. Koemans tried to be defensive. Freitas might have a little bit of momentum, but I think it's going to be too little too late, as Jan Koemans is going to take the victory, and Richard Eklund looks like he's going to hold on to second place as Jan Koemans crosses the finish line to win race 13 of the GreenValleyLake.com as he puts it into a nice spin. Eklund is going to follow into second place. Freitas is going to take third. And let's go ahead and follow some of these battles farther back through the pack. Let's see if we can go back and see how we're doing with Szabo. Can you pick up anybody?
Thomas Szabo comes in fourth, Brad Woons in fifth. It looks like we're going to have Trevor Mack in sixth. A great race by Thomas Mack. And then we see Anthony Celentano. He's going to come in 15th. So these guys are all spread out, multiple laps down to
We'll go back. We have Overgaard looks like going to get second. These are the guys we've been following all race. Overgaard's going to get seventh. Rathy's going to hold down eighth spot. And then we have a nice battle here between Benjamin Lanowit and Thomas Torp as they come down to the checkered flag. It's going to be for 9th and 10th. And it looks like it's going to be Lanowit and Torp. And then crossing behind them, I can recognize those colors as Van Doon. And it looks like Jordy.
Yep, Jordy Fike. Sorry, Bill, I got a little cut off there. When I was cycling back to the next cars crossing the line, it looked like Kim Vader's in the pits. He had a bad finish today, unfortunately, and it kind of caught me off as well. So Kim Vader, he looks like he's in the finish in the pits. We got Jonathan Kier crosses the line, followed by a few other drivers as we wrap it up. We're going to go to break, folks, and we'll come back with your results and then have a few interviews for you. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You watched a wonderful race. This is Brian Corwin taking us home today. Richard Eklund was not here, so we'll see him next week. We're going to go over the results first. So we got Jan Koemans, who won the race. He had a great pace today and just an outstanding drive overall. So good job, Jan Koemans, for the race win. And in second place, we had Richard Eklund. He had another good race today. He had a few mistakes, but he had a few good laps and was able to hold off Yao Freitas. And third, we had Yao Freitas. He had a great race. Unfortunately, he did not get that position over Richard Eklund. Overall, good standings, though, followed by Thomas Szabo in fourth. In fifth, we had Brad Wooten. In sixth, we had Trevor Mack. Trevor Mack, what a great run for Trevor Mack today. He is very consistent and problem-free, and he came in with a top 10 finish that looked like he deserved to be there all season long. In seventh, we had longtime friend Stefan Overgaard. In eighth, Tom Rathie. Ninth, we had Benjamin Lanowet. Good finish for Ben. In 10th, we also had Thomas Torp. So a great finish for some guys that we normally don't see up in the front. Over to you, Bill.
In 11th, Simon Van Doon, followed by Jordy Fike. In 13th is Jonathan Kerr in his first adventure driving on the correct side of the car. 14th was Craig McKenzie. Didn't hear much from Craig this week. 15th was Anthony Celentano. 16th was Jiren Yursum. I think I nailed it that time, Jiren. 17th was Kim Vader. Now, Kim Vader had a little dust up with Tom Rathie. I was looking at it during the break. Rathie was, to me, looked like he was holding his line, and Vader came across his nose. Rathie could have moved over a little bit, but he doesn't have to. Anyway, that put Vader in the wall, and 17th spot for him. PR Sundersworn, it was 18th. Newcomer Matty Cooper got his taste in the GreenValleyLake.com MX-5 World Tour and finished 19th. And in 20th was our pole sitter who had to do a stop and go, Sam McAleer. Let's go back now to Brian for some interviews.
Well, Bill, we do indeed have some interviews today. First, we're going to go over to Richard Eklund. He had a great run today. He came in second overall and just an outstanding performance. So, Richard Eklund, do you hear us?
Yep, I got you.
All right, okay. Richard.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sorry, I'm on the list to do, Rich. Richard, nice job today. Let's talk about your early pit stop, because that's what we were wondering what your thoughts were when you came in so early in the race.
I was just going to try something different. Nothing too special about it. I saw that Joao was catching me and I was losing a little bit of ground to Jan, so I decided just to try something different, see if it would work. In the end, it didn't cost me any time, but it didn't gain any time either, so either way it would have been the same, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We were watching, we were going to see how does this work out, and in the end, it really all came out the same in the wash. Great battle at the end of the race. You really weren't going that defensive, and he really never, I mean, probably from your point of view, he was making a run on you every time, but he really never got alongside you very much there at the end of the race. Were you worried, or did you think you had the pace for him?
I wasn't really sure, to be honest, because I thought maybe he was just holding back for the last lap to try and get around me, but the last lap came around and I outbraked myself into the hairpin a little bit. He got alongside me there, but then I was able to just take a defensive line only one time into that little chicane after that, and that was enough to keep him behind. I think we had a little contact, but nothing serious. So I'm not sure if he just didn't have as much pace and I was getting a good run out of the last turn, or if he just wanted to stay in third, knowing he would only lose a couple points to me in the championship. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I didn't know what he was planning on.
It was exciting to watch. It probably was more tense in the cockpit than it was watching from the booth. Well, I think you knock off another 7 points off the lead, so now you got it down to a manageable 26th. I only get 2 questions, but I'm going to third question. You're 26 points down, man. You got to start I know you've been playing this championship low key. It's time for you to start thinking championship. Can you get it in there? Can you start thinking, hey, I can get 2 in a row?
Well, with Jan not coming to the last 2 races, I suppose anything's possible. If I could win the next 2 and Joao came third or something, that would be great. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm closer than I was before. I actually have a bit of a chance now. So Joao's still going to have a bit of bad luck, though. So still in his hand, I think.
You're in the hunt. It's going to be exciting. Thanks, Richard. Good luck to you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. See ya.
Back to you, Brian, and I think you're going to get our race winner. Do you have Jan Koemans? If he's available, we're going to let Brian take this interview.
Hey, Jan, how you doing?
I'm fine, Brian. What about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. And I'm guessing in your shoes, you're probably pretty happy because early on in the race, there was a little bit of traffic, but you found a hole. And from there on, you just didn't look back. You had a really clean pit stop. You ran a good race, and you just left everyone behind. So tell us, what was your mindset coming into the race this week?
Well, I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the start, obviously, because there was a few people in front of us. So it was a bit tricky. I didn't know if I was going to get to the front and try to run away, or if I got stuck, then I'd probably try and save some fuel. But I was pushing really, really hard to try and get a 2-second gap to Richard to just get him out of the draft. And I just about managed that, and after that I could pull a few tenths of a lap. But it was really difficult because you can't miss a single braking point for 25 laps basically. So it's pretty hard on the concentration.
Speaking of concentration, when everything's going your way and it looks like you're unstoppable, is that when you need to focus the most, or do you feel like you were able to relax a little bit and just ride out the rest of the race?
Yeah, I do relax a little bit, but in this case I was looking in my mirrors because way back I could see Richard and Zhao battling, and it was really close. So I was watching that, and at the same time I was trying not to go off the road or anything, because you can get a little lose concentration or something. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Brian, let me butt in here. I want to ask Jan a quick question. Jan, I know you're going to miss the next 2 races. Then we're going to be off for the summer. We've talked about the dedication that the chunk it takes out of a person's social life. Do you think you're back for season 8 in September?
Well, I'll be back, Bill. I just hope I can do enough races to mount a credible challenge. But I don't know. I just wanted to prove that I'm still quick enough after the debacle on the oval. I think from the past 5 races, I won 3 and then finished second twice. So to bow out of this championship with this record past a couple of races, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, we talked about that during the race. That the debacle. That's a great term at Indy. That hurt you. Jan, it's a pleasure having you in the race. It's a pleasure having you in the series. Have a great summer, and we will see you in Season 8.
Thanks, Bill. See you guys.
Okay, back to you, Brian.
We got one more interview today. Bill, if you'd like to take this one, we got Benjamin Lanowet. He's just coming in to say hi and have a friendly little chat with us. So let's pull Benjamin Lanowet up here, Bill.
And Brian, feel free to interrupt me on my interview like I did you on Koeman's. Benjamin, hey, let's forget about the race. Let's talk something way more important than that. How about talking about you are 2 races away from being the Ironman champion, the first 2-time Ironman champion. Are you aware of this fact?
Yes, I am, Bill. Thank you very much.
That's an impressive accomplishment. That you, for you guys at home, the Ironman Championship is the driver who puts in the most miles in the season. There's no bonus buys for missing a week or something. You miss a race, you get 0 miles. This guy is he won it in Season 5. He's won it in Season 7. And let's go ahead and talk about today. I'm doing all the talking in the interview. 9th place finish. Nice job from you.
Thanks, Bill. Everything went really well during this race for me. I had no screw-ups, and there was some really close racing with Thomas Torp, Tom Rathje, and Simon Van Doon. It was really interesting. I don't know if you caught it in the broadcast, but it was quite something.
No, actually, the leaders were pretty stretched out, so we did, when you watch the rebroadcast for yourself, which I hope you will do immediately, we spent a lot of time on you. Boy, that was a great battle. How did your pit strategy work when you went into the pits? Did you come out okay?
Yeah, everything seemed to go pretty well. I took the default 2.1 gallons, which was just about exactly enough. I had like 1 lap extra, which is kind of the margin I usually like to take, but it was a great race for me. Thanks.
Well, congratulations on your inside the top 10 9th place finish today. Bring it home for that Ironman Championship. That'll buy you a few more checker tickets, and maybe you can steal yourself the $50 season-ending lottery, okay?
I hope so. Thanks, Bill.
All right. Thanks, Benjamin. Back to you, Brian.
Well, Bill, this is the end of our broadcast, but before we go off and thank our sponsors, let's get your opinion real quick. What did you think of today's race, and what are you looking for in the end of the season here?
For the viewers who never got to watch the seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it was the Jans Koeman show, and that's what, he won last week. He's won again today. That's what we saw for the first 5 seasons, and honestly, that's the genesis of the Quick 6 gimmick, is to try to do something to get Jan Koeman from going wire to wire. He almost went wire to wire. He took him half a lap to get the lead, maybe 2 laps. So Koeman is very good. He'll be missed. This championship is going to be interesting as they get down here. Eklund has the speed. If Freitas can avoid trouble, it'll be hard for Eklund to catch him, but one mistake. And, well, there you have it. Back to you, Bri.
Right. So I just wanted to piggyback on your statement there real quick. I am new to the series. I didn't watch it back when we were blondies and whatever else we were called. This is my first year. I'm still learning all these drivers and their tendencies, and I got to say, this is one of the most organized and fun leagues I've ever seen. And with Jan Koeman being gone in the next 2 weeks, it leaves the door pretty much open. If we get Sergio Mora back, I foresee him doing some good finishes. Same thing with Richard Eklund and Yao Freitas. Now that kind of feeling of Jan Koeman dominating the place is going to be gone. So unfortunately, but like you said, Jan, he's going to be missed, and hopefully he comes back for next season. Well, folks, that's all we have today. We would like to thank a number of people and organizations for bringing this race to you. We want to thank Cozy Cabins, Eagle Nest Tavern, and the Welcome Inn Bed and Breakfast for their sponsorships in this series. We appreciate them greatly. For more information about Green Valley Lake, the best kept secret in California's San Bernardino Mountains, visit www.greenvalleylake.com. We also want to thank Bill Zahn, the organizer of this great league. We also want to thank iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, Aver Media, and many more of our software and hardware providers who we also use for this broadcast. Thanks also to the broadcast team. We have Bill and Giancarlo today. We will miss Richard, but hopefully he will be back next week to take over his regular duties. If you want to find out more about GSRC, our website is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. There you can find our broadcast schedule along with archived races and race highlights. We're also on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ Global Sim Racing Channel, and also on Twitter at GSRC Channel. A special thank you goes out to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with some great music. You can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you like the music, tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. We also want to thank another music provider we have is Casey Lalonde, who provides us with some of the other music for our highlight videos. So you can find more of his music at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. I'm Brian Corwin. Today was a great race, and we're going to end the broadcast here. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.